I'd like to call the SAFER Board of Directors to order. So I'll stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. We can have roll call, please.
Cronin?
Here.
Langenhahn is absent and excused. Sorry. Maloney?
Here.
Opal?
Yeah.
Schaefer?
Here. All right, thank you. Any correspondence, comments from the public on social media, or you just here for tonight?
I'm just
Okay.
curious to get
Okay.
involved, so just.
Okay, good. I'm glad you showed up. Thank you. You were here with that group that one night, right?
Yes, and then the
okay.
holidays came,
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
lost
I
me.
know. Holidays, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Seeing that there's nobody on social media, nobody else from the group or from the public wants to talk or comment. C, consent items. 4, approval of prior meeting minutes December 10th, 2024, and approval of expenditures and receipts December 2024. What's your pleasure?
Move to approve both.
Move to approve both by Schaefer.
A second.
Second by Cronin. Anything on the discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. D, business items. 6, discussion and possible action on contract with Advanced Tactical Medicine.
All right, so I had a little teaser out about this at the last meeting during my report. So basically what this is a service that actually, and Sheriff, if you have anything to add to this, because this individual, I believe, works with your admin group, correct?
She has worked with our admin group.
So basically, this Advanced Tactical Medicine goes around to fire departments and police departments, and they do multiple different things, but the biggest thing that we have talked to them about is they would look at things that can make our individuals more fit and better for the job, and then they do things like exercises and stretching and not strength training, but they give you pointers on things you can do to improve injuries or decrease the number of injuries that you have. Locally, Wausau Fire and Stevens Point both use them, as well as Wausau Police Department. They've been using them for a while. They've had very good results. So the minimum is 2 hours that they'll come for once a week. So it's $120 an hour, so basically $240 a week. And what we had talked about last time is that we have enough money in our health insurance account because we budget a little bit extra in there in case anybody would come onto our health insurance for using a qualifying event throughout the year. After that meeting, the other thing I looked at is we have dental insurance budgeted for $17,000, but that was a mistake because that actually comes out of our health insurance. Mm-hmm. So my proposal to the board is that we use that dental insurance budget line to pay for this, and we see how it works for 1 year. And if we do have people that need to come on our health insurance throughout the year, we're not locked into a contract here. We can stop using them if we need to at any time.
And we talked about this the past meeting. This person or people would be going to each branch, each location.
Correct.
And then how would you reserve a spot as staff or a firefighter or?
Yep, the way I understand it, and again, jump in here if I get any of this wrong.
Can it be private, or if 7, then it's 7 together?
No, it's one-on-one.
It's private.
It's always one-on-one. Yep.
So who's going to drive the demand? Will the employees drive the demand,
Yes.
or will you?
No, well, they'll all be made aware, and there'll be some education to the employees about what they provide as a service and how it can benefit them. And the one example she used for us was there was somebody in the city of Wausau that got frequent migraines, and she called it, what do they say, sick like once a month for work?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they went through and did treatment and with her, and with over like a 3 or 6 month period, now she doesn't call in sick anymore because of the stuff they did. So it saves things like that, and we will educate the staff on how it can help them, how it can benefit them. And then anybody that wants to use it would make an appointment with the therapist that comes. And if there's too many appointments for one day, they'll just have to wait for the following week, and we'll have to come up with some kind of a triage.
Do we have some kind of a maximum?
It's just time, so it'll be 2 hours per week. Whatever she can get done
that's
in 2
it?
hours. Yep.
Oh, that was my thing about how do we drive this.
Yep, it's 2
I
hours
thought
per
if
week.
10 staff members wanted it in a given week, now we're not just 2 hours, now we're 10 hours.
No, it's we're limited to 2 hours per
Oh,
week.
wow.
I mean, they'll do more if we want them to, but then
Yeah.
obviously it costs us more.
Well, that was my point. I just want to make sure that we have some outcome of it, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're doing, that's their minimum. The minimum they will do is 2 hours per week, so we're starting with the minimum.
So you're starting off on essentially a trial basis, see how it goes,
Right.
see if people use it.
Yep.
And see what, if it's good, people like it.
I can't imagine them not using it.
I think they certainly will.
I
I mean,
and it's not just physical, it's mental too.
no, it's just physical.
Oh, it is just physical?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just physical therapy, and like I said, they do. I forget what was the term she used? Not a fitness for duty, but they do an exam or an evaluation of each individual, and again, it wouldn't be forced on them.
Right.
But she will do an exam of each individual and say that you could benefit from these types of exercises or based upon
The
somebody's
migraine in
body.
Wausau was taken care of by physical or by nutrition?
Physical.
Physical.
They found through her therapy that she had a spinal compression that nobody else had found. And through therapy and doctor referrals, they were able to alleviate and correct it.
Wow, interesting.
I think we need to get proof of medical liability insurance,
We can certainly do that.
because if somebody has a bad outcome, they sue her and us.
Yep, we can certainly do that. I'm sure that it's present, but that's a good point.
And local?
They have multiple. They're based out of Appleton, but they have many offices.
Okay.
They have several offices that they work out of.
Actual office or home or?
I think it's an actual office. Sherigan, I don't know if you know. I know she said they'd be coming from Point.
Yes,
For us.
that's where she lives.
Okay.
But I do know that, I mean, she just travels over to the fire departments and the police department,
Right.
so
Okay.
she doesn't have an office per se. She's never talked about that to me or anything,
I
so.
was just curious.
Yeah, everything she does is on site.
If she doesn't need an office, then why have the expense? So
Correct.
her office is at each location. Okay. What's your pleasure?
Subject to verifying insurance.
Yep. Okay.
I'll move to approve the 2 hours per week coming out of the line item for dental insurance.
Motion by Schaefer to approve,
I'll second.
second by Opel. Any more in the discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 7, update on Castle Software hosting site.
So this is our accounting software that Cher and Jessica both use. And right now, again, I'm going to ask for IT help here from Eric. Is that it's hosted here, basically on a laptop computer, correct?
Well, it's hosted on the server, and Jessica has to remote into a specific tablet to try to get onto Cassell. We went through an update a month ago, and the update wasn't compatible with the server, so it's only on Cher's laptop. So now for Jessica to work on any of our financials, she has to come here and work on Cher's desktop. And she was here several hours the other day. So
We talked to Nate, and let me back up. We looked at a cloud platform, and that's an additional cost of about $1,400. The other option is that the Village of Weston can host it. This is the same software that the village uses. I don't know if Rib Mountain uses Cassell or not.
Yes, they
but,
do.
I think they just switched to Casella.
Yeah, we just switched.
But it sounds like, according to Nate, that it's not a big deal for the village. We thought it should come in front of the board just to get approval of Weston hosting the software.
How do you get to Weston's then?
And then from the way I understand is that Cher would have no problem getting onto the server in
she'd
Weston. for her
she'd
to get onto.
VPN into their server, so what Jessica does now, in a roundabout sort of way, because we're using that tablet. It'll be way easier for Cher. She'll just VPN into the village's server and access it.
We'll also provide access to Rib Mountain, so your finance director can remote into it. You just need the IP address.
I did talk to Ben. He didn't, and Ben I saw was on tonight. He can chime in if he wants,
It's a
but he
big
said he
deal.
didn't really think he needed it.
It'll also
I think
streamline.
Jessica would like him to have it.
It also
It's
streamline
supposed to be
the
a sharing
changeover
of duties,
Yeah.
not just one, so.
It sounds like a good solution, and the cost sounds minimal.
Correct. The cost is very minimal to do that. Yep.
Probably just the hours of transferring it, or the credits, or however you pay for your. Do we need a motion on that? Is it on the agenda as a motion item?
It's listed as an update.
Update.
Oh.
Okay, no motion.
Okay. All right, good. Number 8, discussion of possible action on administrative staff office location.
All right, so
I'm sure this is designed to shut me up. So,
no. So there's information on this in your packet.
Page 16.
Thank you. I always forget to look in the backs. So I met with Jamie over at the Public Safety Building in Weston a couple weeks ago in regards to some extra administrative staff being over at the station in Weston. So we came up with some different options. I also met with myself, Eric, Cher, and Marty, as well as Callie, to discuss how we could potentially do this. So we talked about, does one person move over there, one administrative staff person move over there and work there as their new full-time office? Do maybe myself and Eric, or myself and Callie, or any combination, go over there a day or two a week and work out of that station? Those are the discussions that we had. I think, like it says in here, that any and all of us are open to really do whatever. Nobody's got any strong feelings one way or the other. There is area back, what I believe they call the squad room, where the sergeant's head office is before. It's in that newly remodeled area. So there's areas back there that would work well for us to work out of. There would be a little bit of IT work that would have to be done to drop like a phone line in and probably put like a wireless hotspot or something like that back there. But nothing major. So the discussion is just it's really up to the board at this point. As far as administrative staff of the fire department, we don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. We're more than willing to work anywhere.
How on top of each other are you here?
I would say Callie and Marty are probably the worst because they share an office. I mean, Eric and I are certainly fine. Marty is gone probably, 75% of the time. He's out doing inspections. But that would be the only office that's shared.
so Marty's duties, or I should say logistically, where are most of his inspections?
Weston, by far.
So that would make the most sense. If he doesn't have to be. I definitely see the point where most of the group should be somewhat together. Just not having to call, not having to text, not having to email. I get that, okay? But what keeps gnawing at me is 75% of the calls, 75% of the action, 75% of everything is in Weston.
Well, it's really 66. One of the things that bothers me is.
We'd like you to
is-
start paying
is
75.
When I saw this, I don't have a strong reaction one way or another where they work. And we should do something not just because the calls are there, but because of the safety of our individuals. As you remember, a house burned needlessly here in Rip Mountain. And one of the ways to help prevent that, because we only have one crew here, we have two crews over there, is to keep administrative
No,
staff here.
that was a good point last time with the ladder truck. That the ladder truck would have to respond from here because the crews over there would be out. And so that's how you get that, and I never thought of that, so that made sense.
But when the
I
one
like-
ambulance is gone,
Yeah,
and no one's here, except for them,
yeah.
who's gonna respond up the hill when the fire happens again? Moving Marty over may make sense, because he's over there a lot,
Well, logistically, I mean, why not?
logistically, but,
You know, less miles on the vehicle that we're paying for.
I mean, and when I first saw this, I really didn't care, but then I thought about it, I'm like, oh yeah. Number one, and then number two, your point, which is pretty good, if Marty's out doing inspections all the time, he's not collaborating.
He's not here anyways.
He's not here
No.
anyway. So putting him over there makes no sense. It doesn't make, it makes sense. He could be wherever he is.
And if
But
it
the
would-
other one should be collaborating.
If
They should be
it
together.
alleviates a little bit of, cluster or somebody sharing an office, why not?
So I don't have a problem with Marty, but I think the rest of them should be together, number one, for collaboration, and number two, for potentially, because this only has one ambulance here. That, obviously, when we go potentially to staffing another ambulance here, then we could revisit that. The other thing we could do is what I was thinking is, that would eliminate that issue, and then you could, if we have the offices here and the offices there, right? You could rotate almost.
Just so the consistency is the same. I know we say we have battalion chiefs at both, I get that.
Just in Weston, actually.
Yep, okay.
So the person that is running the shift for the day is always in Weston. So the person that's in charge for the shift, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is at that station.
Okay. Okay.
There would be some increased cost.
Yep, I was just gonna mention that. Do you wanna cover that?
Sure. So it's about 2,400 extra square feet, and the way that we break it down now is SAFER and EMPD had about a 50-50 split of the building, so they split the utilities 50-50, utilities and electricity, gas. This would increase SAFER's portion to 58%. So in just doing the math in the past 4 months, it would have meant an additional $522 to the Wisconsin Public Service bills.
Per
But-
month or per,
Per all 4 months, so
Oh.
divide that over
Oh.
4.
About $100 or
Yeah.
a little over.
$100 a month?
Um,
The cost
So
is not a big.
SAFER hasn't assumed any extra footage over there with EMPD leaving.
Correct.
So like the inside parking, that didn't get taken over by SAFER.
We
The
stored a
offices did.
vehicle, and
Yep.
we had the ladder truck in there for a short time.
That's
for
different.
it.
I mean, that's different.
But
Why
no,
not use it? Yeah.
nothing permanent.
Something for the municipalities, so.
Would this, would that 2,400 square feet also include space for possible interns that are coming up later on?
No,
the
that would be
agenda?
separate.
That
That'd be separate coming up?
Yep.
Okay.
At that point,
Seems-
then it's almost like turning almost the whole building over to them 100%. The
Right.
only thing that would be the garage space.
The garage and the evidence
Evidence.
rooms and those rooms,
Right,
the
in the back.
armory and stuff down that hallway.
Okay, yep.
in the back.
What is the space right now being used at Weston versus this building here? This building here is solid SAFER.
Yes,
Okay.
yep. And like Jamie said, right now it's about 50% of the building over there.
So,
SAFER.
but I mean, what is the square footage there versus the square footage here?
Ooh,
Do we know?
I don't know that off the top of my
Okay.
head. I want to say this building is 18,000 square feet, I think, and I don't know how many square feet we have over in Weston. I
I
don't
think
know.
it's 15,000 square feet. Does that sound
That
right?
could be about right,
And you're half.
yeah.
So 2,400 square feet, I mean, when you think of an office, that's not 2,400 square feet, I guess. What space over there does that all encompass?
That is the, I don't have it in
It's-
front of me.
it's
Jamie
three
sent it to me
offices.
earlier today. It's the 3 offices,
Yeah.
kind of that little meeting area, and I believe that was the locker rooms also,
Yep,
correct?
and the locker room.
It's gotta be. I mean,
Okay.
that's a decent sized house.
So it's the 3 squad offices, the entire squad room, the conference room, which is good size,
Mhm.
and the 2 locker rooms, and I think there's a bathroom back there.
So obviously, I mean, if Marty moves over there, only one office is going to get used. Do we have a plan for the rest of that space, or?
As it sits right now, no.
Okay.
No.
But it's in either you have to take all 2,400 square feet, or.
I think that
or
would
you
be up
have
to the
get-
village.
Correct.
Why?
Yeah, it would be a little bit difficult to, we broke it that way because it's a hallway and there's a door, then you wouldn't have the access. It just makes it cleaner on whose space is whose. I mean,
Okay.
otherwise, you're gonna pay to heat that space for someone to inhabit it and be in that space with, I mean, otherwise we can turn all of that down to,
Mhm.
Sure, I understand.
yeah.
Okay.
To just water, yeah, not freezing, yeah.
And I think it's kind of the, if you did the internship program, then you're gonna open up all of that space. I mean, this is kind of a interim.
For
before you
sleeping
get
quarters,
there.
the whole bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Callie, you and Marty share an office. Do you have a preference one way or the other?
I don't. When we were talking about it, I said the amount of times I could go over there for training and stuff. We do EMS training. I could do it here or there. It really doesn't matter too. I can be pretty fluid with going over there as well.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I bring it up a lot, and so I'm gonna not bring it up anymore. And it is, because it's gotta be annoying as hell. I mean, I do like all the little toy trucks and all the stuff on the walls, and I don't think we have any of that over in Weston. And the nostalgia just isn't there, you know, so, anyway. But anyway, okay.
There's stuff hanging up
Yeah.
upstairs.
Is there? I'm gonna go take a look.
Upstairs.
It's upstairs by
I'll do a
the
little
crew
inventory.
rooms.
Okay.
And we're working
I
on
mean, these
a,
are some neat, there's some neat stuff in here, you know. There's a fish tank here.
That's mine.
Yeah, okay.
we're working on a project, and there might be some other stuff going on the wall over there.
I'm just kidding, you know that, right?
freaking fish tank in.
But, huh?
No more fish.
Yeah, I know. Well, I like fish. I like fish a lot. I mean, I know a trustee that pokes at another municipality, and I'm very, very tired of it. So I've got to also have myself stop. So that's kind of, and you've been very professional when you've responded to me, because he knows how to shut me up. He says, "Tell me to move order, and I will." So that shuts me up. I'm done. I'm done talking right there. All right, enough of that.
Well, I'll make a motion to
Well,
to look at To pursue utilizing the 2,400 square feet of office space at the Weston Station.
Okay, motion by Cronin to utilize the 2,400 square feet at Weston
For what?
for Marty.
For Marty.
For Marty.
For Marty and other uses as determined by the chief.
Okay.
What, could we have meetings downstairs then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
really nice conference room
That makes
back
more
there.
sense then, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this is really nice. So, I mean, it's just hard to, when we had them over there, I thought it was kind of neat to go back and forth. My knees can't handle the stairs. I know there's an elevator that takes about 6.5 minutes. But for any public to come over, it's just, it's
You know-
quite a little thing to get up there and to know how to
We do that,
navigate that.
we should move the IT system into that conference room,
No, we'll worry about that later.
because they could have training down there.
Okay. Secrets don't make friends. All right, let's move it on here. So,
Well,
we have
I made
a
a
motion.
Nobody
Is there a
seconded it.
second?
Did you second or?
No,
I'll
nobody
second
yet.
it.
Second by Opal on the discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay. Discussion and possible action on chief officer wage increase.
This one is for Eric.
So on page 17, you have the breakdown. This is just bringing us in line with like the union contract and what the union membership are getting. We're giving 10% for paramedics, so it's the same wage scale. If you look at starting and top on the left, it's just applying the 1 and the 10%, 1% for advanced EMT and 10% for paramedic versus the current where we're applying 2% for AEMT and 6% for paramedic. Like it says in the memo there, it affects 2 individuals. So 2 individuals right now are at the top of the pay scale, and with this year's raises, both of them would get a payout where if this is approved, they would get a raise. And those 2 individuals, we've held their raises until the meeting, so depending on what you decide, they'll get a 1.5%
Merit bonus, right?
merit bonus, or they'll get a raise.
Yeah, so the budget impact for 2025 is 0, because either way they're getting that dollar amount. The only thing this changes is that it raises their top pay.
Yeah.
So instead of just getting that
Potential
merit
top
payout,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
for the 2 people, they'll be into that additional 4% that it raises the top pay.
Retroactive the first of the year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we were to approve this, would those 2 individuals be at the top end of the scale?
No, not quite.
Neither of them would be. One would be really close. One will be at the top next year for sure, and the other one may not be at the top. I think they might just be getting into. They might not be at the top next year, depending on what raises are.
Okay.
Okay.
But definitely by 27, 26,
Yeah.
27, they would both be at the top.
Yep.
I'll move to approve as presented.
Motion by Schaefer to approve as presented, second by Cronin. Anything on the discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Discussion and possible action on internship program.
All right, Shara's going to bring up a PowerPoint. So I sent out a memo on this, kind of a 30,000-foot overview. So basically, so I did an internship program. Captain Helpicki did as well. 2 different places. Both of ours were in the Madison area. My department doesn't exist anymore. Actually, yours doesn't either. But basically what happens with an internship program, we are a little bit different for the simple fact that the 2 examples that I just mentioned worked with Madison Area Technical College for the internship program. If you remember, we spoke about this about a year ago. Eric and I were meeting with NTC. We wanted to work with NTC on this. They said no, they don't want to. So it kind of fell off my radar for a little bit, but I brought it back up now because I think it has that much merit, is that we would do this program on our own, and then they would attend the classes through the tech college. The big difference there is when you have this combined internship with the college, the internship earns them credits. So they would get college credits for doing their internship, where when we do it the way that we're going to do it, they're not going to get those college credits. Maybe at some point the tech college will jump on board and say, hey, that's cool, we want to do it now. Unfortunately, the only thing they're doing right now is the apprenticeship with Wausau. My heartburn with that, honestly, is that this internship can affect the whole area. Stevens Point to Merrill to Antigo to Wausau, us, Riverside, everybody, because it can bring these people into the area where the apprenticeship really only benefits Wausau. So the way this would work, I got my little clicker here.
No?
So we would have a total of 3 interns. One gets assigned to each crew, okay? They would literally live at the fire station. So they would reside at the fire station in Weston, which is how the internships, again, down in the southern and southeastern part of the state also work. They would receive pay based upon their level of training, which we'll get into a little bit later. The program will last for 24 months, and during that 24 month, they're going to get their EMT, their paramedic, Fire 1, Fire 2, both state certified and state certified driver operator. So when they leave the internship program, they'll be a very desirable employee for whether it's us or anybody else that wants to offer them a position.
Why is Wausau's only benefit them?
Because it's an apprenticeship for people that they hired. So they hired them, they go through the training, and then they're Wausau Fire employees when they get done with the training. When you get done with an internship, you can go anywhere.
Okay.
And there's no like clawback where you need to spend a year or 2 here?
No,
Then
well,
you
they'll
can
do
go
their
somewhere
20. They'll do their 24-month
Oh, that's
internship, but
right.
after that, they
Okay,
can leave.
I got it, okay.
So
Do they
that
pay for anything?
Yep. So what we pay for is right here. So the benefit for us is they're going to work initially for $7.50 an hour, so just above minimum wage. Okay. And Chris, jump in here, but I believe that's what you said. You talked to Western Lakes, and that's what they were paying currently.
Yeah, they're starting out at the base minimum wage.
Yep. So they're actually $7.25 an hour then.
But we house them,
Yes, and they do as well.
Okay.
We have space over there?
Yep. I'll talk about that in a minute. So when they complete their EMT Basic and Firefighter 1, their pay will increase to $8.50 an hour, because at that point they become much more useful to us. They can run calls as part of the crew. The third bullet point there, I'm working on confirming. At this point, what I'm saying is that we're going to offer them health insurance. Okay. In talking with Corey today, she doesn't think we have to. I'm waiting to hear back from Dean yet. So for the purposes of this presentation, I'm assuming we're going to offer them health insurance. I'm also assuming that the vast majority of these people are going to be probably fresh out of high school under their parents' insurance and won't take our health insurance anyway. And even if 1 or 2 of them did, they're more than likely going to be single with no children, and their health insurance will be fairly inexpensive. But for my budgeting perspective that I did here, I did do kind of a blend so that we have some room there if needed. Interns will receive sponsorship for their fire training. Again, fire training, as long as they're sponsored by a department in the state of Wisconsin, is paid for by 2% dues. So if somebody's not a member of a fire department and they want to go take Firefighter 1, they have to pay for it. But if we send them to Fire 1, it's paid for. And then we will pay for their EMT training, and we will pay 50% of the tuition for their paramedic program. Okay,
Which is
throughout
how much? Which is how much?
approximately $4,000.
Okay.
They will have to maintain academic metrics to be in the program. So if they're in class, but they just don't care and they're kind of not putting an effort into it, they will be removed from the program. So
Okay.
we'll have metrics that are in place that they have to follow. So how does it benefit us? So the biggest thing is recruitment. The main reason I am looking at this is recruitment. Everybody knows that not just us, but everybody is struggling with recruitment. If we can have these 3 individuals here, we send them through school, they're going to be training with our guys, so they're going to train the way that we train. They're going to be used to working with us. So the hope is that if we're hiring upon the completion of them finishing their internship and they're interested in a job here, they can slide right in and they're ready to rock and roll.
And it's not like a fresh hire where we really don't know them.
Exactly.
This would be 2 years.
It's like a 2-year interview.
Performance, yeah. Okay.
Yep. And then they're also, again, they're living in the fire station. Chris can attest to this. I mean, even if it's your day off and you're hanging out and a fire comes in, then you're more than likely, they wouldn't have to go, it's their day off, but more than likely they're going to walk across the bay and get on the truck. So we got extra hands in the building. Interfacility transports, I mentioned this a little bit later, but my intention right now is that once they obtain their EMT basic license, and obviously when they have their paramedic, and they will have their EMT license will probably be the first certificate that they obtain, they'll be able to take interfacility transports, and we would pay them the wage that an EMT basic gets normally for interfacilities anyway, which is currently $22.50.
Okay.
So they'll have the opportunity to make more money. And again, they're in the station. If it's a Saturday afternoon and they're just kind of hanging out, I would certainly think they will probably take those calls. Mm-hmm. So that could be a big benefit for us as well. Extra assistance for public ed events. So again, October Fire Prevention Month, those weekend, we go out to the races or something like that. We need an extra body on a truck. They're there, and again, we can use them for extra assistance if they're willing. And I think this really kind of helps put us on the map as a destination place for employment. Young firefighters talk about those types of programs throughout the state. Again, there's the majority of these live-in internship programs. I think, in fact, all of them that I'm aware of are in the southern part of the state and the southeastern part of the state. Madison area has several, and then Western Lakes has a fairly large one in the southeastern part of the state. And I can pass this through here actually. This is Fitchburg as an internship program, and I can kind of give you, I only need one copy, I guess I should add a couple, but that's their flyer and then their human resources job description. So benefits for the intern, they get an opportunity for on-the-job training, improved opportunity for job placement. So when fire departments are hiring firefighters and they see that they participated in internship, that makes them stand out on the resume. They develop interpersonal skills within the firehouse, and I can tell you, again, anybody else jump in and tell me, but I can tell you that when we hire some of our new people, that is something that is lacking. They seem to struggle to fit in to the culture when they come through the door, and I think that puts undue stress on them. I mean, when you're an outside person, you come in to work with the firehouse and you walk in and see that big burly fella right there, and he's your captain for the day, even though he's a giant teddy bear. He looks a little intimidating. So it helps them feel more comfortable in those situations. And then the big one, I think, on the bottom is assistance with housing and education costs. When I was 18 and they said you get to live in the fire station, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. So, you have somebody that's maybe getting out of DC Everest or it's Anago or wherever it may be, and maybe they really want to get out of the house, but they can't afford $1,000 a month for an apartment. It might be one of those things almost similar to the military when somebody doesn't know what else to do and they can't afford anything, so they just sign up for the military. This may be one of those things to help get people into the fire service.
So it sounds like it's designed to someone single.
Yeah, I mean, if you're married, this probably isn't the life for you.
I know, but is there any discrimination or liability that I am married? I'm 25, I want to do this.
You just got to live in the fire station.
I can bring my spouse?
No.
Okay.
Are we going to require them to live there on their off days if
No,
they don't
they're
want
not.
to?
There is most of these, Chris, jump in. If I remember right, we had to be at the station 80% of our off time.
Right.
When I did mine.
Yeah, but to really recoup this, I mean, let's say I am single, I am out of high school, I don't want to live anywhere else. I want to count on 2 years of all my living expenses are paid for. All right, is there a multi-use, let's say there's 3 internships there, so we're all sharing the bathroom, we're all sharing a kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a lounge area with a TV, but my room is my room.
Yep.
That's 2
You have
years.
3 extra bedrooms?
That's
over
2 years of a lot of stuff.
3 EMPD offices.
Offices.
With an
Offices
outside
would be
window.
bedrooms. There's a big area where the
Yeah.
secretaries were. That'd be like the
Right.
rec
A lounge
room,
area, rec
and
room
then
type
the
Locker rooms.
locker room would be
It
the
would
locker
be
room.
designed like
We have a
Kennedy, like
workout
that
room there
Kennedy
already.
Apartments are.
Where'd Marty gonna go
Yeah.
then?
There's still room for
It's-
Marty.
he'd still be an
Marty's got
office.
tons of room there.
Yeah.
So
You ship Marty over there.
when I did my internship with the town of Madison, that was a 3-year program. The first 2 years were concentrated on, or the first year was concentrated on paramedic. The second 2 years was concentrated on the associate's degree program through MATC. The interns, there was 3 additional bunk rooms upstairs. Your room is your room, like you said.
Right.
In the kitchen area, we had an additional fridge. That was the intern's fridge where we could
Okay.
go grocery shop, school, and so forth,
Sure.
stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, you do have your personal space. There was a requirement, you didn't have to stay there all the time.
But I could.
But you could,
But I
you
could.
absolutely
Oh,
could.
absolutely.
Days off,
Yeah.
you could spend as much time there as you want.
I mean, I can go visit. I
Obviously,
can
you're
go to
gonna
a
wanna
sports
go out and
event.
do other
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Hang out with some friends, obviously, you're more than welcome to do that, because, you don't have to stay there all the time.
But I'm not, I don't have to pay my water, my electricity, my heat,
Correct.
except my
Correct.
food and my food.
For me, as a, kid fresh off the farm, coming down to Madison for a 3-year program, living in the city, living at the firehouse, running calls, I mean, it was a incredibly valuable experience.
I'll bet.
There's,
It's actually very rare.
Can I ask a question?
It's very rare. What?
Can I ask a question on this?
Sure.
So what happens when somebody drops out and you've already invested $4,000 in them and they drop out, do they sign a contract that they have to pay back?
No, not for this.
But it also happens on a new hire.
Correct.
So we have a new hire and we start at any level of training. In 3 months, 4 months, it's not for me, I'm gone. There's no
Yep.
fallback.
And we
That's
get,
the stinker.
they,
And then my
they,
second question
Yeah.
is that, as a mother of 3 sons,
Mhm.
and God bless us all that they're gonna be running the world, they all wanna play video games all the time. So, and I mean, I've got 29-year-olds down to 25-year-olds, that's their off time. So, just from the parental view of this whole thing, you tell a kid you can do that at mom and dad's house, and where they're gonna say, get off your darn machine all the time, and they come up here and they have off time.
Well, they're 18 years old. I mean,
Yeah,
they're adults.
they're adults.
Yeah.
They
Okay,
can,
yeah.
but I'm just saying,
They
the
can do
whole
whatever they want.
process is you don't have to think about the mentality of what the youth looks like
Yeah.
today about, you're
Oh, yeah.
thinking they're just gonna jump in, but there are a lot of kids who are just gonna say, okay, it's my day off, I can spend 24 hours on my computer or laptop,
Yep.
and y'all are
Yeah.
expecting them to jump in and help.
well, no, we're
No,
hoping that they
no.
jump in and help.
It's-
Not,
But it
there's
would
not
be
an
nice.
expectation.
It's
Yeah.
totally up to them. I mean,
Yeah.
they will have they have a set work schedule that they will
Yeah.
have to work. They'll be working full-time hours. So if they, they're, like I said earlier, they're assigned to a crew, they'll be on a rotation just like Chris is, and they have to work that 48-hour shift unless they have school, and they can leave during their school hours, but then
Yeah.
they gotta come back
But
to work.
It'd just be like, if it's my off time, whether I spend it at the station or if I go to a game or I go shopping in Madison or Milwaukee, I'm unavailable. So yes, I could be playing video games, but that's my time. It
So
doesn't,
it's gonna
it doesn't
be-
matter if it's more valuable or not in someone else's mind.
But it's gonna be dependent, for y'all's point of view, your fire department, your firemen are going to have to embrace them, so they want to spend time with them
Yeah.
on their off
Oh,
time. If they
absolutely.
feel like
Yeah.
they are
But we-
off by themselves,
I-
you're not gonna
I-
ever.
I'm sure we have firemen now, fire people now going home and playing video games.
Oh, yeah,
You
we
know,
do.
so
Yeah, I mean,
I got
we
four
are a very young
families,
department.
Four, that
But
are
it's
all
just that
playing,
when they're
yeah.
in your
I shouldn't
space,
say
Yeah.
that.
and
Yeah.
you're
My
hoping they're
brother's
gonna do
52
something,
and
like, can you help
he
me
plays
carry
video
this in?
games all day
And
Sunday.
it's a business,
Yeah.
that,
Well,
that has to be kind of, y'all have to think about that.
I don't think the operations side, the internship, that's
No,
more of a
he
housing
doesn't
over
tell
there versus where the fire is, right, to the right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it'll actually be a little.
It'll be a
Yeah,
little
it's
separate.
separated. And when they're on duty,
Yeah.
they'll be in the station. So when they're on duty, they'll be with the crews. They'll sleep in
Right.
the crew quarters. They
Oh, I
won't
see.
be. They
Oh,
won't be.
in their own.
They won't
Right.
be in their own room. They won't be on the intern side of the building.
Ah,
When they're on
That
duty,
makes
they'll
more
be
sense.
on duty with the crew.
Well, that'll help.
How many rooms do you have for crew quarters? Three. Aren't there
Could-
3 on right now?
Oh no, crew quarters. We have 6
Oh,
bedrooms.
crew quarters, I'm
We
sorry.
have
Yes,
6
there's
rooms
office.
and 1 room is a double.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're
okay.
not
So there's
right
plenty
now.
of
We
space
have
for
one.
space.
We have 1 empty room every day as we're currently staffed.
Okay.
Go ahead, Steve.
Could we not make it a requirement that if a fire page comes out and you are in the building, that you, as part of this internship program, you are expected to get on that truck?
I can look into the legality.
Whoa,
of
whoa,
that.
whoa, if I'm off though?
Even if you're off, if you're in the building, but you're being housed and your
I think-
housing is being paid for by us,
I'd say no.
just for fires, I'm not talking about for anything else.
Yeah.
Some of that you have to offer on-call pay if you're doing things like that. Again, I'm happy to look into it.
Okay,
I did a ton of reading on internships recently, and there is a lot of stuff in there that are gray areas. And like I said, I sent it to Dean, and he's got 1 or 2 fairly minor questions that he doesn't have hammered out yet. So he's still digging into it. But that's, like I said,
Fred
pretty
just
minor
said though,
stuff.
maybe if we can't require it, it could be strongly suggested that.
Yeah, and we certainly
Yeah,
would. And I
but then you're gonna force that person to leave. They're gonna leave and
Not-
just
if
go
you're-
downtown.
If you don't want to go on fire calls
Yeah.
and you don't have you're not nerding out over all this stuff, then maybe you
Yeah.
shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I think the people that we're gonna bring in for this are gonna be people that
Very-
are probably gonna be
Yeah.
fighting to get over there to get on the truck.
Mhm.
Well, you can have a life and be
They're
a
gonna.
fire person.
They're gonna want
You
to
know,
know.
you-
Yeah,
you-
I
you-
don't
I
They don't
know-
have lives, so
You
come
don't-
on.
You don't have to polish chrome all the time. I mean, come on,
No,
You
I
don't have to
think-
go and look at the hoses.
But there is
put the
an
boots on.
aspect, when I took training, I always had this, wherever I worked, and they paid for something, there was always this, well, you gotta work for 3 years, and we'll forgive it 1/3 each year, and if you leave, you owe it. And that was a question, do we have something like that? We may not have a job for them at the time that they come out of this, at the end of 2 years. But I think there's an aspect of this, we may want to have them, at least number 1, if you leave before it's completed, you have to pay back 50%. And then number 2, if there's a job available, you have to stay for 2 years or something like that.
I think the big, and I'm open to any of those suggestions. I think the big gain for the district, other than it giving us a recruiting tool, which is what I look forward to the most, is that we have guys working for $7.50
Yeah.
an
Right,
hour.
I know, that's,
I mean,
Yeah,
you have
I
a
mean-
really cheap employee for 2 years.
What does it cost to hire,
There's three
by
of
the
them.
time you do insurance, get gear for 'em and everything, it's
Yep,
what?
Our,
I got that-
our
I got that
minimum
coming up.
hourly wage right now is $19 an hour. So,
And I think the part where this could really help us is in our facilities. Again, if they're sitting there and they need to make a little extra cash, and we say $22.50 an hour to go on a transfer, they're probably gonna jump
No, I
on
would think
those.
so.
And I
And
think
that transfer
we're,
makes us a ton of money.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're somewhat underestimating the people that are gonna sign up. You're not gonna get the guys to sign up for this program that are like, well, maybe that the guys that typically do the internships are pretty hardcore fire EMS. They want to do it for the most part. So I think you're gonna find guys that are
Okay.
pretty
Well,
interested.
and that's part of our
Girls.
application process too. I mean, if
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have a good
there-
application.
There will
and
be an interview process for
And we have a
this.
good way to vet these people
Yeah.
and make sure that
Yeah.
they're gonna be a good fit for this, like, I can see it working.
I would also ask the question, if we're gonna go to legal, is, I'm married and I don't get to have the same benefits as someone single.
You can't, you
it's-
just have to be at this, you have to live at the station.
Yeah, but I can't bring my wife, or I can't bring my husband.
So
whatever.
But you
so
can't do that when you're a fireman.
Hmm?
You can't do that when you're a fireman and you're on call. You go live at the fire station for your time on. That's kind of
But
gonna have
I'm
to be
not.
on them.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point, yeah.
I think if you outline the expectation.
And again, the way that internships typically work, and the way that I would do, what I would encourage the board to accept us to do with this one, is that if they have a significant other, they are allowed in the internship quarters, but
Common.
not overnight.
Okay.
That's the way pretty much every internship I've ever seen. By 10 p.m., everybody's got to be out of the building. They can never be in their own personal room together.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's,
Done.
Like a code of conduct that you
Exactly.
would probably have to have them sign.
exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
Costs. So approximately $65,000 over the 2-year period per intern would be our cost. Okay, so
it's over a 2-year,
over the 2 years, so over the life of their
Wow.
internship,
including housing?
that includes housing I didn't have figured in there. So
Okay.
if you want to add that in there, I would, again, it's a little bit of a moving target, because are we going to say rent could be $500 a month, and that's what we say our cost is, or do we look at our true costs, which are really going to be the utilities
Rent
and some
utilities,
maintenance
my
for the
God,
building?
that's a hell of a savings. Yeah.
But are we not, so I'm a little confused by it, and this was why I asked the question earlier when we were talking about moving the administrative staff over. Would the offices did we not already approve to?
different offices.
So this would be an
Different
additional
areas.
amount of square footage?
This would
Yes.
be, they would be
Okay.
taking all the rest of what I would call office space. in-
Okay, I
The
apologize.
EMPD area.
So what I'm
When
looking
you
at,
walk in, it's to the left, it's all
what
the
I'm looking at
windows.
is the
Yeah.
3 offices that are kind of along the west wall of
Okay.
the building.
It was the chief and the captain's
Yep.
office.
Yes, and those would be the bedrooms, or each
Yep.
person's individual room, and then that area where the clerks and the secretary sat,
That's the,
that would be kind of
Common
a rec
areas.
room area, so a couple
Okay.
couches,
just to do something
TV on the wall.
with
What's
a
that?
bathroom and shower, yeah.
I believe there are actually, yes.
There's one, yes, there would be a window in each office.
Yes,
Yeah.
there is.
So
Or in
that's
each bedroom.
kind of the way it would be laid out, is that front office area.
Okay.
And then really for food, I mean, there is the break room in the back if they wanted to eat something simple, but if they want to cook something, they can go to the fire station side. We obviously have our kitchen, so they can cook there.
Well, that'd be actually good, because I can see an issue with cleanliness. Because if you're with the fire department, there's an expectation there. If you have 3, young
Morning
recruits
inspections.
there.
Well, and they
Well-
would be expected to clean this space.
Absolutely. The battalion chiefs
I
are going
know,
to keep
but-
an eye on
yeah,
it to make
yeah,
sure that
yeah.
it's.
I would expect it to be like a college dorm room. College dorm rooms have microwaves, and they
Yep.
have like those induction hot plates, maybe if they wanted one of those. But they're
Don't
not
burn down the
hot.
fire
They're
It's
they
insured.
you
Yeah.
can't with those things.
We're going to encourage them to eat with the
Yeah.
crew.
Yeah.
That's what we want them to do.
Or bring their food back, whatever, yeah.
And
Okay,
then again, like I mentioned earlier, they'd be allowed to perform interfacility transports, and they would be paid the full wage for that, but that would come out of that interfacility transport budget that already exists.
right. And parking could be in the court parking lot or right in front of the EMPD.
Sure, either way.
No house parking.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
So that is what I have. I don't know if
Okay.
anybody's got any questions.
No, I'm good.
Judge, we add in there something about children, offspring. They can't be babysitting them there, because if y'all get a call or something.
Oh, yeah, that can't happen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do
Agree.
have children at that age, some of them.
What, no pets? Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
pets,
Yeah,
nothing.
definitely no pets.
okay.
Well,
All right.
I think that children, I mean, I would like to think that the days that they're scheduled to work, obviously they're not gonna have any, because, am I wrong, or did you say that are they gonna have a bunk in with the rest of the crew?
When they're
on
on
their work
duty.
days?
When they're
Yeah.
on duty,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so, I mean.
It's gonna be similar to how a college dorm room is run. You can't have kids, you can't have pets, you can't have spouses. It's really gonna be almost no different than how a college dorm room is run.
Okay.
We will write the policies.
And like I
that
said,
are legal.
this is not something new. It's new. It's very new to
Yeah.
our area,
Mhm.
but this has been done for 30 years in
More
other
than
parts of the
that,
state.
So I really like the idea.
I do too.
We need to get answers to a lot more of this and then figure out how you're gonna fund it.
So yeah, as far as the funding goes, for 2020, what year is it? 5.
5.
I mean, if we wanted to do something, and obviously we still have a few more hurdles to overcome here, and I got to get some answers back from Dean that I can bring back to our next meeting. But if we wanted to try to start the program so they could get into some of the fall classes in 2025, what I looked at is our fund balance. The way it sits right now, we have about $1,250,000 in our fund balance. Again, we try to stay at 32 to 33% of our current budget is the max, which is 1.2 million. So we're actually a little bit over what we want in our fund balance, and there will probably be a little bit more that rolls over into that this year. So if we wanted to for 25 to get something started towards the end of the year, it'd obviously be a very small commitment. I think we could, with the board's approval, obviously pull money out of that fund balance to potentially fund it.
I think with us looking at the SAFER grant for 26, I think it would behoove us to try to get, correct?
Yeah.
It would behoove us to get this going so we can get some people that we can groom to be part of this department.
Yeah, the grant process, there are questions on there. What have you done to try to supplement staffing? What other grants have you put in to pay for staffing? You have to show a need for the staffing. So a program like this, I would think, on the application would really help us, saying we're recently starting this internship program to try to help offset our staffing a little bit
But
and
the SAFER
recruit.
grant is for fire,
Yes.
Yes.
and this program is for everything.
Correct.
Okay, so the 9 new firefighters is the SAFER grant.
Correct.
All right.
Now those 9, the SAFER grant is for fire, but all those 9, they're going to be cross-staffed.
Yep.
They're going to do fire and EMS. It's just when you write the grant, you need to write it for the fire aspect of the grant. So we need to highlight the additional engines that are going to be staffed with the grant and things of that nature.
I have to kind of slip that in a little bit, because we don't have it on the agenda, and I want to make sure you knew that.
What, I'm sorry?
The 9
I just
firefighters.
want to know if females were
Yeah.
firefighters.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we
even though
had-
they say guys all the time, they mean humans. That's
Oh, I
why
just
it's
wondered-
fire persons, fire personnel.
We have several
Yeah,
females.
Yep.
we have one of the highest
Mhm.
female ratios in the area.
Yep, and our police department too, same thing.
Mhm.
Okay. Good. Okay.
You said you talked to NTC. Did we talk to MSTC?
I did. Several months ago, and he kind of just kicks the can. The problem is if they don't like to cross lines. So if MSTC comes up here and starts doing something, they're going to get pushback from NTC. Even though NTC doesn't want to do it.
See,
We've had this before with other classes.
I'm familiar with that, but
Yep.
considering that all of us pay tax money to that entity.
I think, the pitch we made to NTC is, I think it would bring people into them as well.
Agreed. I agree.
So
How do you advertise this?
we would honestly do it on our Facebook page. We also go to job fairs every once in a while. We go to the high schools. We go to several different
We could
things.
advertise in a couple different periodicals. Depending on how much money we'd want to spend on advertising, the newspaper doesn't really do anything anymore. Facebook is one of the biggest ways that we advertise. We have a multinational following on Facebook. We have people in the Philippines following us. It's crazy.
That
They
guy's
want to
still
sell
on
you
it?
stuff
Yeah.
too.
That one guy? Okay, good.
I apologize for the barrage of questions.
No,
I have
it's
another
a-
one.
no,
So,
it's fine.
how is this program different from the one that WASA is currently offering?
So WASA's program is, the big difference is when they started WASA, they're making their full wage right away without any training. Our guys would make minimum, we're just over minimum wage. Obviously, the WASA guys aren't living in the station.
Okay.
The big difference is that when these guys are done with their apprenticeship program, they can, if they say, yeah, I got a job lined up in Stevens Point, they can go. There's certain, I mean, that's what happens with most internships. If you
Right.
look at the one from Fitchburg, they boast about how they have people hired in different states all over the country that left their internship
Does Wausau have a
program.
clawback on theirs?
Yes,
If
Because
they,
you almost have to.
within 3
Yeah.
years, however,
it's very different. It's not even the same thing.
it's going to take them about 18 months to complete their education. Again, during that 18 months, they're being paid full time. They're given full benefits, and they're given a $10,000 sign-on bonus.
Right.
So then they have to work there for 3 years, which is really only 18 months after they complete their training. So they're, in my opinion, spending a lot of money to get 18 months out of an employee.
Okay.
The last people they sent through the paramedic training, there was seven of them,
Seven or eight
and all 7 of them are gone.
Yeah,
they
they
paid
paid-
for 100% of their training. They all left.
came out of the SAFER grant.
I was just gonna
Different
say,
departments all over.
they do need to come in with EMT basic for that program too.
Yes, they do.
Oh, and they don't need to.
Wausau's,
No,
yeah.
they can come
Okay.
in with nothing here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even if they don't have EMT basic or fire, are you still going to essentially get them on the truck as a ride along?
So they will get,
Initially, or-
my plan would be, hopefully, depending on how we can hit this, is that there is a fast-paced EMT basic class that runs this summer at the Merrill campus, and they can have their EMT basic in 6 weeks.
Okay.
And then they can complete that EMT basic course.
Like taxidermy.
Yeah, yeah.
They can complete that EMT basic course and start to run
But
calls.
the Merrill campus is NTC.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
And there's
Yes.
fire
Fire
ground
ground
training
airport.
that we
Yeah.
can give them and utilize them on a fire ground. They can't make entry, obviously, but
They're probably still going to use NTC for all their training. It's just not going to be in conjunction with
Yeah.
our.
They're going to be they will be given the opportunity. Quite honestly, the training they're going to attend is going to be, because the schools right now kind of have a schedule, especially for paramedic, but fire classes are kind of all over the place because they'll post several, but half of them get canceled because of low enrollment. So they could attend what I would see of one of 3 different colleges. I could see them going to Nicolay, NTC, or Midstate.
But even if everybody leaves you and goes somewhere else and you start the next intern class, you've still got 2 years of cheap labor.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
even
Very
if that becomes your puppy mill,
Yep.
you
True.
know, I mean,
It's very true.
it's kind of that you get.
We got to come up with a
trained
different
well,
term
you
than
get
that.
the-
Yeah.
Well, you
Don't
get
use the
the
word
reputation of,
Yeah, I know.
they train them well,
They
they
do
get a
that.
reputation somewhere else, and then people start looking at you.
Yeah, and the goal really is that they come in here. I mean, because let's face it, over the years, there's going to be times where we have 3 interns that are done, and we're just not hiring anybody either.
I
But
don't
the
see
goal
that
is
being the case in the short term.
not in the short term, but eventually it will be. But the goal is to get them here for 2 years, and they say, hey, because there's a lot of people that, because we're we're over a decade old now, but in fire departments, this is still a very, very, very young
Yeah.
fire department that is not well known to a large part of the state. And if you start to do this, it starts to get that name out a little bit more. And hopefully, when these people come in and they do this program, they're like, hey, I kind of like that place, I'm not going to leave, and they just stay. And those people may not have been exposed to us at all in the past.
Right.
So that's
Okay.
really the goal behind it.
All right.
I'm sorry. One more question. We have to pay for additional space in Weston.
Yes,
Is that included in that number? The
That is not.
100,000?
Nope.
So what does that cost?
we didn't get that far yet.
Yeah, I mean, I did pull up I actually wanted to ask it under next agenda items, because really at this point, the utility cost is really only SAFER. So we might want to have the discussion about just transferring that over now, because the water uses and the sewer uses,
Is
those that are in the
non-existent.
building.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, because it's not being used, we're not being charged. I got you.
Yeah.
Well, we're splitting it.
Right.
There's still a divide, because
Okay.
there's been usage of the building.
Mhm.
But without stormwater, I would, the utilities are about 3,400, with stormwater 57.
We're not paying stormwater. Who charges for stormwater? My God.
You charge for stormwater.
No, we don't. We don't have a stormwater fee.
You don't?
No, we do not. We don't nickel and dime our residents.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
We have a great partnership. Let's not go there.
But and then 1,700 for WPS monthly. So that's why I say maybe adding that square footage, because it would be a couple months before we'd have the internship, we sort of slowly increase that expense.
Just curiosity, who cuts our lawn over there?
We do.
Who's we?
The village cuts the
Oh,
lawn,
okay.
and they
And who
plow the
plows?
snow.
Oh, okay.
I think you do the
All right, Mark, that's
sidewalks though?
enough.
or
I
do you
just
do
wondered.
No.
I just wondered. I just
Sometimes. The other day they got to them before we did.
wondered. Yeah.
I believe
Okay.
that's in the charter though. That's
Yeah.
Per the
Oh, okay.
charter.
Well, then it's in our charter too. So. Okay.
Um,
All right, we're done.
Boy, this is fun.
The other thing that I
Yeah.
the
let's,
other thing that I assumed would have to happen is that this would probably need to go in front of the Weston Village Board at some point for. I mean, obviously it's the village's building, so I don't know how
I
that
don't know
works.
if it really would. I mean, the only thing that would have to come in front of the board, I would think, is actually leasing the space, correct?
Yeah, I think we might just do an amendment to our lease to say
Yeah,
that
we'll
you're
be
taking
fine
additional
there.
square.
Well,
We're
we're
not
not charged for the
It,
space.
it
it's
won't be
just a smart
unanimous.
charge
It won't
for
be
the
unanimous, but
utilities.
we have the votes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the way that the lease is though structured, it says that you're 50% of the building, and so we would adjust what that is. I mean, to
Yeah.
go from 50 to 58, I don't think is a concern, but if we're gonna go from 50 to 100 or 50 to 75, I think it's
What is the stormwater fee on something like that? Because we truly don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
It's based
Yeah.
on units of impervious surface.
So there's a lot on that building, I bet, because there's blacktop.
It's a big blacktop parking lot. Yeah.
So what is it, like $5,000 a year or something?
No. 1 second.
There would be a fire fee on that building then too.
$2,300 a year.
Not yet.
But
I would think that would be
Fire-
exempt from it.
But fire fee goes into the utility. It's charged as part of your quarterly utility.
Right.
see that, I mean, so now we're gonna have to start paying a fire fee to ourselves, to you.
We're just talking about it. We're just trying to figure out how to make
Nothing's
this
been
work.
decided.
Well, maybe we split what the base cost is, but the usage would be yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are things we can probably work out and I
Yeah.
can bring to the next
Yeah,
meeting.
we'll be fine there.
Okay.
So do we want initial action on this? Yes?
I think just bring it back. I think,
Bring it back once we get a little more figured out?
That's fine.
Okay.
Well, is
There
there,
is quite a few questions.
do you have enough to go on, or do you want some specific action or direction as far as what we're looking for answers?
I think we got enough.
I mean, I think I have a pretty
Yeah.
good idea what we need.
I think we need to come back with a budget, with
Yep.
a
Yes.
line item budget.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And then answer all the.
And I
other
was
questions.
working on that. I got scribble marks here somewhere on a piece of, well, right here.
Yeah.
But
Maybe maybe
I'm
a
just still
spreadsheet.
waiting for some stuff from Dean to
Okay.
confirm a couple things before I.
And then, I'm not convinced on the clawback or not, but just ask Dean about it, and then maybe a soft clawback, one that's not,
I can say what Shane has traditionally told us. I mean, obviously we use those with our
Yeah.
current employees when we send them to
Might not
paramedic
wanna say that
school.
out loud.
Well,
Might want to say it behind closed doors.
he said it's fairly easy to get out of those contracts.
I know,
Yeah.
So,
but it's still.
but it's obviously there's an expense though if they're going to hire an attorney to do it.
Well,
And keep in mind, we're paying them $7 an hour.
Yeah.
We
I
are
understand,
paying
right.
them room and
that's why I
board,
said a soft one.
but it's, the tuition's also part of their compensation.
Is there some expectation that if we have a position open, that they would take that position at the end of their program? Or are they not bound to
No,
that?
and I quite honestly I don't want them bound to that because they. I mean, if they don't want to be here, I don't really want them here.
Yeah.
Okay,
good point.
fair enough, yeah.
Good point.
And I think this also gives them the opportunity to work here and be like, you know what, it was great. I got my education out of it. I got a great experience, but it's not a place I'd want to work. I mean, it's not for everybody. Somebody might want to go work in Chicago and be super busy all day long, and the next person might say that's too many calls for me. I mean,
If Clap's not in the town of Madison, and you're not
Shorewood Hills.
Shorewood Hills, and Captain Novak isn't wherever he did his, and Battalion Chief Myers, I believe, did his in the town of Madison also, and he's here. We have a number
We
of...
have
the only-
several internship graduates that work
Yeah.
here.
The
Actually,
only reason I didn't do an
Okay.
internship is because I had been with Ramon, they gave
Assistant
me
Chief for the
credit.
City of Wausau, he's a former Fitchburg intern.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do y'all already have all the extra equipment? You
It's-
talked about in here that you have fire, they provide their fire.
turnout gear and everything.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes, we do.
Yep.
So you don't have to have that expense
No.
out there.
No.
Okay, so we're moving that one to the next month.
Yep.
With some questions coming back?
Yep.
So 11, end of month budget review?
So that is in your packets. Everything still looks good. We have 1.5 payrolls that need to be entered into there yet. So that will be an approximate cost of $100, and with the holidays, probably about $115,000. And then I have one more batch of bills that will need to come out of there that we will actually be doing either tomorrow or Thursday,
Shows
probably.
$1,900 for the actual period for ambulance fees?
Um,
1,900.
we,
We didn't. get them in time, right?
No, we did not get November's deposit in December in time. Jessica had to come here to do all of that,
How much
and
was it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Hopefully we'll wash it, because we're still net positive here in your budget.
Yeah.
You're still,
They're still billing. I mean, it's still going out. We still have,
We did
How-
switch, forgive me, I've been super busy the last couple of weeks, but we did switch.
First of the year.
Yes.
First of the year,
Yeah,
okay.
first of the year.
did they build anything here?
yeah, they have been billing.
Yep. As of yesterday, they had billed 75 calls.
Okay.
So they're billing.
They want to impress us, don't they?
How far are we behind on the other collection?
Dollar-wise,
Still
still about
Probably
200,000.
200,000.
280.
I mean, we are still hopeful, and they still tell us that money will come. It's just delayed.
Yeah, they've been saying that for
I know.
6-8 months.
Yep.
They have billed out all of 2024. So EMSMC, we had one bill out there that wasn't going through billing. I had to actually send them a PDF of the run so they could bill it. There was an issue with the software, but they billed
Okay.
100% of them now,
So
right?
you know how much
That's
the
what they
Oh,
city
I
of
didn't get
Burnsville
the
charges for
20,
a ambulance call 7 miles to there with nothing extra? $104.
That's cheap.
That's cheap.
I was surprised.
Very cheap.
And-
Just
and-
starting the engine.
And Western Lakes
It's
What did
going to
I-
be more than
was
that.
like 1,700
Yeah.
for the
Okay.
almost the exact same call.
Where are we on? Any more questions on the month budget?
Well, it's looking good, because
Okay.
the new revenue will offset the payroll, and so we'll probably end up right here.
Yeah. I asked
Couple-
Jessica, and she said, I talked to her today, and she said it's just a little bit too early to put firm numbers on where it's going to shake out, but I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay.
75, 200, something like that,
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Okay. Any attorney referrals?
Other than what he mentioned.
Right, right, okay. So we all agree on that? E, staff reports. So Chief, you gonna go first?
Sure.
So just, could you, for our audience tonight, could you just maybe highlight what we did last month with the 9 fire
Sure.
positions?
And,
Yeah, okay.
and paid on call.
Yep.
And paid on call.
Yep.
After that meeting we had 2 or 3 months ago, we started right away with a paid on call advertisement. I'll let you do it. But just remember, paid on call, the 9 and the grant.
Yep. So
Yep.
I'll start with the paid on call. We're up to 8, I believe, correct? 8 applicants. I mean, we had probably 11 or 12 applicants. Some got sifted out for various reasons.
Did Steve get sifted out?
I haven't submitted mine yet.
We didn't submit it yet.
Okay, I just wondered. Okay.
Um,
I'm rooting for you.
So we do have a handful of people that are trained already. We have one very highly trained, very well experienced individual that applied that lives right down the road actually, that wants to help out. So so again, we didn't have a ton of interest. I really want a dozen people
Right.
before we get that up and rolling. We're at 8 now, so we just need to try to get a few more on board, and then we can get that kind of moving down the road. And again, I think what we're really kind of building here is between that and if we get this internship going, is that hopefully that'll really help give us a pipeline of some people to bring into our full-time jobs as they vacate down the road. I can tell you that departments are having an extremely difficult time filling positions. Not to get off on a tangent, but just real quick, Mercer ambulance closed like the first of the year with no warning. They just said, they sent the memo to their board and said, we're done, figure it out. And the board then published something that said, well, Manitowish Waters will take care of it. And they put it out on social media and they're like, no, we won't. We can't even cover our own calls. So their ambulance service up in that area right now is extremely undependable, almost non-existent. They're scrambling to try
Including
to figure it
Manitowish
out.
or Mercer?
Mercer's the worst, but
Right.
Manitowish Water said we struggle to cover our own calls. We certainly can't take yours on. That's basically what they told them. And then Captain Lohman actually sent me another a message last night about Chippewa County. Chippewa County, really, the only full-time ambulance service they have I'm aware of is the city of Chippewa Falls, which is a department about our size.
Isn't that a district?
No, that's Chippewa District. They're different.
Oh, they are?
They're
Okay,
separate.
I wasn't
Yep.
aware of that.
But they have Cadott and Cornell, and they have several volunteer agencies, and most of those volunteer agencies said by the year 2026 we probably won't be able to exist. They just 80% of the rural calls or the non-full-time calls being taken in Chippewa County are being taken by the same 3 people in those departments. So just think about that. You're a volunteer, and 80% of the calls you're expected to go on. It's not sustainable. And it didn't say in the article, but my guess is those 3 people are probably 60 to 70 years old, because that's what we see around here. It's pretty common. It's a problem, and that's one of the reasons I'm trying to do all this stuff, and it's not going away. It's getting worse, and it's getting worse quickly. Even larger career departments are having problems recruiting, so we just got to try to stay on top of that. And with that is the SAFER grant, which although it's called SAFER, it really doesn't have anything to do with us. It's a federal grant, and we're applying for that grant to hire 9 full-time firefighters starting in 2026. I'm struggling with this new year thing. So we will apply for the grant here in February-ish. We have to wait for that to open. Again, once it opens, it's open for 30 days. And then we apply during those 30 days, and we hopefully will see something, late summer, early fall. The thought is, and again, this will come back at a later meeting, probably in March or April, is that Eric and I would like to, after we apply for it, we'd like to post for positions in, say, June, and say that we are establishing an eligibility list for anticipated job openings the first of the year, so we can hopefully try to start to get some people in the queue.
We're going to be behind the ball if we wait until January.
Right, we
Yep.
gotta go, yeah.
So again, that'll come back at a later meeting. The difference that the board, at least not the full board, knows about is when we initially told you guys about that, we said it was 100% covered by the government the first year, 66 and then 33. Myself and Eric sat through a training on that about 3-4 weeks ago. It's actually covered 100% for the first 3 years.
Yep. Okay.
And then year 4, it becomes 100% the
Back on the
responsibility of
municipalities,
municipalities. So that was one change.
Financially is actually better.
That's a big savings.
Yeah, because it'll pay about $3 million-ish over
Right,
the
over
3
that
years,
period.
where if it was the other way, it probably would have been 2.25 or something.
So that's kind of an update on that. Again, we're watching it very closely. We're preparing. There's a ton of data that has to go into that. I'm going to be reaching out to Jessica actually fairly soon to work on solid numbers for wages and those types of things, because I know they'll ask for a wage breakdown. They're not just going to say, how much do you want? So I want to make sure we have all of that ready. And I thought there was one other thing. Oh, the last thing I have is we sold, so our new cardiac monitors are in service. They've been in service about a week, correct? We sold the old monitors. I contacted Mr. Maloney about that before I sold them, but we got just under $70,000 for the old monitors, which is
That's
about
fantastic.
double what I anticipated getting.
I thought you said about 35,
I was thinking
40.
about 35,000. So when they sent that quote, I got a hold of Mark right away. I'm like, can I sell these things? Because I don't want to.
Yeah, have we sold them, already gone?
They're gone.
Yeah,
They're
they're
physically
And
gone.
money's here?
Money is not here yet, I don't
No,
think.
not yet.
Okay.
They went to a very reputable company. It's actually the same company that we were renting a monitor from
Okay.
for about the last year.
All right, good.
They are going to send us. We should see that pretty soon. Those went out like last Wednesday. I think I sent them out, right? Thursday. So we should see that hopefully
Good
very
job.
soon. I think that's all I got.
Okay.
So how many
Thank
people
you.
are on a shift, or on a B and C? Is it 6, you told me?
It's maximum of 7, minimum of 6.
A 3 hire is 1 shift. That-
Okay, so
that-
wait, if you get 9, if
So it's
they
3.
granted you. for-
If we hire 9 people, it'll be 3 extra per shift.
Yes. So, yep, okay. All right, good, thank you. Report from the deputy, Eric.
My report's in the packet. The 2 retirements, we presented them with their axes at the commission meeting earlier tonight. Lieutenant Bartis had 30 years on between Rib Mountain and SAFER, and Bob Pound had about 12 years with us. The thing with Bob, though, is in the area, he was involved in the fire service for about 54 or 55 years,
Wow.
between teaching for the tech, and he worked for Tomahawk Fire, and he was on Maine for a lot of years.
Wow.
So we presented them with access at the commission meeting. Our EMS response numbers are there, fire response numbers. Fires of note, the Laguna fire, that was on green shift. They did a fantastic job on that fire. We got a call because like a light in a bathroom popped and there was fire in the attic. And the crews, it wasn't apparent. There was a little bit of smoke, and the crews did a really good job. They found the fire and contained it to the area of origin. They did an awesome job. The Zinser fire, that was the one at the last meeting that we had. And then a couple
That
of
was
mutual.
interior, in a building.
Yeah, that was a car fire
Yeah.
in a shop
Wasn't supposed to be there.
that wasn't supposed to
Yep.
be there. Crews again did a great job. Again, this is all contingent on us not being out on other calls, and
Right.
we weren't.
Right.
Crews got there, knocked that fire down right away. The Indian Head Drive fire, that was, the 8 off, that's Wausau Mutual Aid. We mutual aid an ambulance to them, so we send an ambulance over there. And our mutual aid call volume's gone up considerably since signing that auto aid, because I don't know what's going on in Wausau, but they have a lot of fires as of late. The Indian Head Drive fire, that was a commercial fire, Mosinee. Actually, our crew was the first one there because we're staffed. So our engine company was first engine on scene. I was in command of the fire because we were the first ones there. We were on that scene for 12. Well, it was more than that. I was there 11 hours, 13, I think. You guys were there 2 hours.
We all heard that, right? You said 12, and then you said, no, I was there longer than that. I was there 11 hours.
No, we were. We were there longer than that because I was there myself 11
I
hours.
thought, okay, all right.
It was a long one.
And
Yeah.
Mosinee was on scene for like 20 hours. They were on scene until 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So that is a rubber mulch factory where they grind up tires, and the rubber was on fire, and the only way you're putting that out is by getting all that material out of the building. So yeah, to find the seat of the fire, to get to it, identify it, and then several hours into it, to at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, we're trying to find backhoes to come in, and not backhoes, front end loaders to come in and remove the material. And then it took hours and hours and hours to remove the material. It was a very long process.
Is using any foam?
We didn't have enough foam. Yeah, we didn't have enough foam because it's a Class B foam, so you're running at 3%, so you would need
A lot.
thousands of gallons. Well, when we were there, the owner of the building said, well, I have a bunch of foam, so I sent a crew to go get the foam. He had 1/2 bucket of foam. And he's like, yeah, I got buckets and buckets, and there was none there. So
Was he supposed to have foam there? Because
I
materials
don't
he
know.
stored?
I don't think he was required to
Oh,
have
okay.
foam there. No.
Okay.
Training hours were down a little bit. That's to be expected with the holidays and time of year. Apparatus truck 1 lettering is complete. It looks really sharp. It's
Yes.
beautiful.
It does?
Go
Yeah.
look at it afterward. It turned out fantastic. The boat is currently at Rib Mountain Marine. When we ordered the boat, there's a pedestal that we're going to put a steering wheel on. We didn't have the money. It was budgeted for 2025, so it's there getting done. With that, we're actually getting a motor upgrade because of the hydraulics weren't built into the old motor, and actually the upgrade is costing us nothing. So we're getting a bigger motor, better hydraulics.
We get the motors so cheap because
Yeah.
of government
Right.
pricing that they can sell the motor that's on there for the same amount of money that the new one
Take
costs
the new one,
us.
yeah.
So it's basically a wash.
So that's going to be really nice. Prevention events are there. At the next meeting, you should have the year-end report, and I'll be presenting that. Being new to the report, I spaced out the concurrent call report, so you have that supplemental to the package. You can see, actually, our year-to-date, it's 41% of the time. It turned out that we have concurrent calls. So 32% of the time, we have 2 or more out, and 41% of the time, we have even more than that out. The other day, this is just last week, we had 6 or 7 concurrent calls. It was just call after call after call, all within like a 30-minute span, and we were on different scenes, and we were trying to staff trucks and call mutual aid. So it's not getting better.
And we had some chats, I know with this fire at Red Mountain, we were gonna have some chats with dispatch.
We did.
We
You
did, yeah.
Okay, anything come out of that?
Yes, it's just going to take time because, and I can understand dispatch's point is they want all fire departments to agree before they change anything, which I can fully understand. So I'm making a presentation at our next MABUS meeting, which is in March,
February.
Good.
So
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Good to hear that.
The other thing we found out through those meetings, which was a little frustrating for us, is the times in the reports
Yes.
are not actual times, they're time stamps.
It's extremely
So-
frustrating.
So the report that the gentleman whose house burned, he came to us and he said, why was Easton the first dispatch? Well, they weren't. They were automatically dispatched with everybody else, but the way it looks in the report is the timestamp doesn't go into the report until the dispatcher pushes the button to timestamp that particular department.
And if they're busy,
And if they're-
they just timestamp it whenever they get to
Yeah,
it.
they'll timestamp it 10 minutes later.
So we really have no
So
idea.
our times, it was very frustrating for us because we're very time driven and we've been talking, the crews will tell you, we're like, why did this take 6 minutes to get out the door? Why did this take 6 minutes? Well, it's not. It's taking them 30 seconds to get out the door because the way
it's-
dispatch operates.
How many times have, like Steve or I or others have talked about this
Yes.
with you guys? And not that we come back and say, what the hell, but we just kind of want to know too.
Yeah.
And then that fire on Grand Avenue with Riverside,
Because
that was nuts.
and that particular fire showed that our crews, it took 5 minutes and 12
Yeah.
seconds for our crews, and they were out the door in like 45 seconds.
Mhm.
But it's
Doesn't
all,
that affect your insurance? Because all those numbers
No.
are what go into your rating.
That
no.
response time.
Response times don't affect ISO rating.
Isn't it?
But response times do-
Distance.
Yeah.
Distance is the big one, yeah.
So
response times do affect some things. So.
they
Don't we
do.
have a couple of accreditations that affects.
No.
No.
No, the accreditation, we need to put in policy what our expected response times are, and then we need to fall within that.
Right.
We do have an out though. What we need to do is just make sure that the crews are using, we have CAD tablets in all the rigs. When we use the CAD tablets, the timestamp is as soon as they hit it. We're directly
then-
tied into the
So those
tab-
are accurate.
So those are accurate.
Okay.
So our numbers are probably 70,
95%
yeah,
accurate, I bet.
where there's a lot of departments in the county that aren't.
The problem we run into is our tablets are cell connected. So if we're in Gunther or we're in certain areas of Rib Mountain even, there's no reception. So then they have to call on the radio, and quite honestly, the dispatchers will go to the bathroom and still dispatch because they just wear their headsets. So if they're in the bathroom doing their thing and we say 90 Med 1's on scene, they'll say 10-4 and they'll timestamp it when they get back to the
When they get
council.
back, yeah, okay.
So the time could be
So
5 minutes.
Does the dispatch time auto-populate on our CAD? In the
Yes.
trucks?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
It's the exact same times.
So it knows exactly how long it took them to go.
We're to the second tied in with the CAD. So it's really the mutual aid calls that our times are gonna,
Okay.
because it's the mutual aid calls, the way it works is whoever is dispatched, so if Mosinee dispatches us for mutual aid, even if we hit our CAD, it goes to Mosinee's report, so it doesn't work the same way. They still have to timestamp it and everything else because it's originated with their report. So that was one big thing that came out of that meeting that we did not
Yeah.
fully grasp.
Okay. Good. Remarks from the board. Al?
No.
Fred?
Nothing.
No. Steve?
I don't think I have anything.
Happy New Year, everybody. I thought this is one of our better meetings. A lot of great information, a lot of stuff shared, a lot of stuff coming back. We got some good stuff. This is a good pulse. Let's see, Chair, date?
February 11th.
February 11th.
I am out of the country.
Oh, God, that's
So is it
right.
always 5:30?
Normally 5:30,
And
yep.
then it says 6 on
Oh,
your website?
No, it doesn't.
yeah, it says 17,
I saw it.
So
1730.
I'm sorry, what website are you looking on?
yeah.
We'll make
I
sure.
had a devil of a time finding y'all's
Oh.
calendar. I went to like 50 different things. I still don't know.
We
you
have
just
that.
you just have to go to our
Yeah.
website. It's
Yeah.
saferfd.com,
Yeah.
and then on the top it says agenda and minutes. The agendas are usually put out the week
See, I
before.
went to Red Mountain.
Oh.
Yeah, no, you need to go to our
Ours
website.
is on Weston,
Yeah.
the Village of Weston has it right, actually right on the front
Do we
page.
put these meetings on our calendar?
Right on the front page
Okay,
it comes.
I didn't.
We have the week's meetings on the front page. You don't even have to go anywhere.
So,
But go ahead without me. 'cause I'm gone.
saferfd.com.
Thank you.
Yep.
sounds good.
Good.
Is-
So
And
for
I'm not calling in.
I can be here the 11th.
Yeah.
Something hour difference.
Yep, I am too.
Where are you gonna be?
Just real quick here.
Austria.
Austria? Oh, that sounds fun. Skiing?
Bring us back some chocolate.
I'll be back on the
It's
11th.
cheaper to go to Austria to ski than it is to Utah or Colorado.
Really?
Yep.
That's
With
No.
airfare?
With airfare.
I heard the Kalahari's charging $800 a night.
That's a
So,
lie.
No.
I just booked 2 nights there and for spring break.
Kalahari is
The
very
Kalahari?
expensive.
Yeah.
Very
We
expensive.
were just down there with $729.
All right, so February 11th we got?
Yes.
5:30?
No.
Yes.
Here again?
Here.
Not paying
Looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn, I'll do that.
By Schaefer and second by Al.
All right.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. We are adjourned at 6:50.